A deadly silence blankets the abandoned Playtime Co. factory, only to be shattered by twisted metallic echoes rising from the depths below. Poppy Playtime Chapter 5 is no longer a simple journey through an abandoned toy factory. It has become the scene of a horrific nightmare, where the company's most terrifying experiments finally emerge from the shadows. Every rusted corridor, every grotesquely mutated toy, serves as another link in Prototype 1006's brutal plan for manipulation and control. The mysteries surrounding the existence of Pianosaurus, the horrifying origins of the Altimals, and the true identity of the lone survivor trapped within a factory overrun by monsters are about to be unraveled through the coldest and most unforgiving lens of lore analysis. Dark, oppressive, and relentlessly unsettling, the truth hidden behind the doors of Playtime Co. is about to shatter everything we thought we knew. The Wrongside Altimals commercial and Experiment 1006's first appearance, The Nightmare, begins with a distorted, worn-out commercial promoting the Wrongside Altimals toy line. Rather than serving as an innocent advertisement, the tape functions as the prototype's first opportunity to introduce its twisted creations into the world of Playtime Co. Hidden within the flickering, glitch-filled frames, the true form of Experiment 1006 quietly reveals itself, planting an overwhelming sense of unease long before its full appearance. From the very first moments, the mastermind has already begun manipulating the player, using cheerful toy imagery to conceal the monstrous entity lurking just beyond the darkness. The haunting Hidoki, melody the familiar children's tune Hidoki, has been warped and suffocated into a dark, unsettling soundtrack for the Altimals commercial. The contrast between its innocent melody and the decaying, horrific imagery creates an atmosphere so oppressive that it becomes almost suffocating. Every note serves as a reminder of innocence that has long since been lost, buried beneath unethical experiments and unspeakable acts of cruelty committed within the walls of Playtime Co. The complete removal of the Poppy cover art, the mysterious Poppy cover artwork, which appeared repeatedly throughout the promotional trailers, has been completely removed from the final version of the game. This is far more than a simple design change. Instead, it appears to be a deliberate narrative decision intended to redirect the player's attention toward the new horrors now dominating the factory. Its disappearance leaves behind an unsettling void, forcing intruders to confront a much harsher reality where former allies may have already been replaced by far more terrifying threats. The unsettling opening room, although Chapter 5 follows directly after the devastating events of Chapter 4, its opening room appears suspiciously modern and strangely untouched. The unusually clean interior, the unfamiliar blue flooring, and the complete absence of aging or structural damage raise serious questions about whether this environment is even real. It may represent a carefully constructed simulation designed to manipulate perception, blurring the line between reality and illusion while trapping curious souls inside a fabricated version of the factory. Huggy Wuggy's biological reflexes, even a ruthless killing machine like Huggy Wuggy, cannot completely escape the natural biological instincts of a living creature. When cornered or suddenly startled, the creature instinctively hesitates for a brief moment, exposing the lingering traces of human psychology buried beneath its monstrous exterior. This subtle detail tears away the illusion of an emotionless predator, revealing the painful conflict between humanity and animalistic instinct, still struggling for control beneath the creature's blue fur. The twisted origin of the Altimals, the first Altimals, emerge as grotesque, inverted versions of the smiling critters, serving as undeniable proof of Experiment 1006's brutality in tearing apart and reconstructing previous experiments. They are no longer toys designed to bring joy and laughter. Instead, they have become completely corrupted entities, driven by overwhelming hatred and an insatiable hunger for every remaining form of life trapped within the factory. The fate of the background teddy bears, the Ultimal teddy bear variants, are among the most tragic products of the Bigger Bodies initiative. Leaked behind-the-scenes images confirm their horrifying fate. Transformed into nameless experimental subjects, stripped of every trace of humanity, and reduced to disposable tools that fueled the relentless machinery of Playtime Co.'s ambitions. Their existence stands as a haunting reminder of the countless lives buried beneath the ruins of industrial greed. The appearance of the ally, Giblet amid the overwhelming darkness, Giblet emerges as one of Chapter 5's greatest mysteries. Worn, aging posters hidden near the washroom area reveal the creature's original appearance before its horrifying transformation. This small but significant detail hints at a forgotten past consumed by time, isolation, and suffering, suggesting that this failed experiment still desperately clings to the faintest glimmer of hope. Giblet's buried memories, if discovered during certain sensitive moments, Giblet will speak in unsettling fragments of dialogue that expose the deep emotional scars hidden beneath its fragile exterior. Every broken sentence, every fearful whisper, suggests that the creature is desperately trying to bury its darkest memories, terrified that confronting the truth will once again shatter what little sanity it still possesses. Cloby's poster and the birth of Hatred, the first Cloby poster, is covered in furious, chaotic scribbles drawn directly across the character's face. This seemingly minor environmental detail serves as powerful evidence of the growing resentment and psychological conflict brewing among the factory's surviving experiments. The factory is threatened not only by the horrors lurking around every corner, but also by the jealousy, hostility, and violence consuming its inhabitants from within. Giblet's lonely songs, years of isolation inside the hideout, have turned Giblet into a living music player. The songs about Huggy Wuggy and the smiling critters are not performed for entertainment, they are desperate attempts to escape an unbearable loneliness. Echoing through the silent darkness, Giblet's off-key singing creates an atmosphere of heartbreaking solitude, revealing the slow descent into madness of a creature abandoned by the world. The IOU note and the hidden social structure, the handwritten notes found on Giblet's race car bed, reveal an unexpectedly complex social network that still exists among the toys. References to someone named Joy, along with records of unpaid debts, suggest the existence of an underground community where the surviving experiments continue struggling to preserve some form of order beneath the factory's ruins. Every name and every number tells its own story of survival, dependence, and fragile trust in a world that has already collapsed. The identity of Experiment 02, the distinctive injury on Giblet's leg, perfectly matches the classified records of Experiment 02, an individual who was reportedly rescued by Joy's group during a failed escape attempt. This theory strengthens Giblet's unique position within the network of escaped experiments, while also explaining the creature's cautious balance between cooperation and suspicion whenever outsiders enter the factory. The secret behind Joy's group and Genta's own old newspaper clippings describe a resistance group known as Joy, led by Genta's own, who attempted to escape the factory during the Hour of Joy. Although their bodies were eventually discovered inside the Innovation Wing, the unnatural arrangement of the crime scene strongly suggests deliberate manipulation by Experiment 1006. Rather than documenting their deaths, the scene may have been staged as a terrifying warning, designed to crush any remaining hope of rebellion among the surviving experiments. The tragedy of Bron and the Poppy compound. After disappearing for 4 consecutive chapters, Bron finally returns in the worst condition imaginable. Chained in place and relentlessly torn apart by swarms of Altimals, Bron is kept alive by the Poppy compound not for healing, but to serve as an endless source of biological material for the prototype's experiments. His existence has become a symbol of eternal suffering, where even death itself has become an unattainable luxury. Pianosaurus and the Hidden Scanner Network. The unexpected return of Pianosaurus requires players to meticulously search for a series of hidden scanners scattered throughout the map. More than a simple collectible hunt, this becomes a true test of patience and determination, forcing investigators to venture deep into long-abandoned corners of the factory, where every step risks awakening horrors that have remained dormant beneath decades of dust and decay. Lemon and the Secret Room in R&D Discovering Lemon, by solving the challenging puzzles within the research and development sector, unlocks a hidden room containing a special tribute. Once Lemon is placed in its proper location, CG5's theme song begins to play, creating a strangely memorable moment where modern music blends seamlessly with the oppressive atmosphere of an aging industrial nightmare. It serves as a rare but meaningful cultural Easter egg hidden within the darkness of Chapter 5. Experiment 1006 is disturbing for respect for Preston in one of Chapter 5's most unsettling scenes. The prototype displays an unexpectedly intimate attitude toward Dr. Preston. By placing a mysterious toy on Preston's desk and promising to always stay by your side, Experiment 1006 reveals a deeply twisted relationship that extends far beyond that of creator and creation. The prototype does not simply seek revenge, it seeks possession, intending to dominate the minds and souls of those responsible for the bigger body's initiative. Preston's agonizing Sweet Street and its liminal space design, the domain ruled by Lily Love Braids, was originally designed around the unsettling concept of a liminal space, an endless environment that evokes feelings of isolation, uncertainty, and psychological unease. Although its current appearance is far more colourful and elaborate, the overwhelming sense of emptiness still lingers throughout every corner, suffocating anyone who dares enter the territory of the so-called Love Doll. Lily Love Braids and the original hair-walking concept, one of the most disturbing early concepts for Lily Love Braids, envisioned her standing and moving entirely on her own hair. This terrifying design choice would have created an unforgettable visual while perfectly representing the complete corruption of both body and mind. Every natural law is abandoned, allowing horror itself to reshape the creature into something profoundly unnatural. The horrifying truth about Gracie Green, a hidden VHS tape discovered inside Lily's chest, reveals the horrifying truth about Gracie Green, the employee responsible for psychologically manipulating countless toys while hiding behind the image of a model worker. Eventually, the toys captured her and forced her to endure the very same psychological torture she had inflicted upon them. Before long, the prototype transformed her into Lily Love Braids, completing an act of poetic and deeply ironic revenge. The tragic irony of Lily Love Braids in her current form, Lily constantly carries Gracie Green's corpse with her, believing it to be her closest companion, completely unaware that it is actually the shattered remains of her own former human identity. Because of the cruelty she committed in her past life, the other toys reject her entirely, while the prototype confines her to the deepest reaches of the factory. She has become a prisoner of memories too horrifying to fully remember, yet impossible to escape. The true identity of the survivors. Richard Rawis, perhaps the most shocking theory surrounding Chapter 5, is the possibility that the player character is actually Richard Rawis. Once a hot-tempered employee who was disciplined for his behaviour, Richard eventually devoted himself to becoming what others described as a hero of the people. The protagonist's survival after suffering otherwise fatal injuries, thanks to the Poppy compound and Giblet's electromagnetic assistance, aligns remarkably well with the documented recovery procedures used on high-priority experiments such as Richard, making this one of the strongest identity theories presented in the game's lore. The mystery surrounding the player's true identity, along with this blood-soaked new beginning, will continue to consume the minds of everyone determined to uncover the truth. Playtime Co. was never meant to be a playground. It has always been a massive graveyard, where every truth lies buried beneath layers of betrayal and the prototype's twisted experiments. And this journey is only the beginning of an eternity of suffering hidden within the darkness.